Thank you for joining us. We are here today to release Canada's new national cyber security strategy, and it's a great honor and privilege to be able to be here meeting with, of course, the Business Council of Canada. We have been working with our private sector partners and others in Canada for some time to develop this strategy. It's not the first. It's a continuation of investments and work and time in all of those things that touch the cybersecurity landscape. Obviously, there are three major facets to this strategy. The first is to help identify what the landscape looks like. What are these threats? Where are they coming from? How sophisticated are they? Are they here in Canada? Are they malign state actors? We have all heard of seniors, for example, being scammed on a regular basis, or we've seen bank frauds and these kinds of issues. So the first thing the strategy will do is help identify what the threat landscape looks like for cyber in Canada. The second thing this strategy will do is to help actually prepare Canada to respond. And we recognize we can't respond only as government. We have to do this in partnership with other orders of government, with the private sector, which is one of the reasons why we're meeting with a large cluster of private sector experts in this area to get their reaction to much of which they've contributed to already. And the third facet of this strategy is all about dealing with the magnitude of the challenge, forgive me, the opportunity inside Canada. We're dealing with hundreds of billions of dollars of economic activity and opportunity around the world today, which is going to more than double in the next 10 years. So we need to make sure that we are investing in our people, investing in our startups, investing in new opportunities, and keeping the jobs at home as Canada competes for and can win for positions and new technologies in the cybersecurity sphere. That's what the strategy is about in plain language.
The timeline for appointing this fentanyl czar?
By the end of this week, we will have the terms of reference for this fentanyl czar finalized. I think you're going to be hearing very shortly afterwards.
But can Canada commit to appointing a fentanyl czar by the time this 30-day delay is up?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We intend to be way more proactive than that. We're moving forward now. We understand the constituent parts of the fentanyl crisis in Canada. The fentanyl czar's role will be to help us integrate what is a whole of society challenge.
Prime Minister is doing is massively increasing the drug overdose crisis in this country. He has been providing taxpayer dollars for high-powered drugs that have flooded our streets and lowered the cost of hydromorphine on the streets by as much as 95% in Vancouver, leading to the deaths of 30,000 Canadians.
Right. Fentanyl is a foreign affairs issue. It's a law enforcement issue. It's an intelligence issue. It's a public health issue. It's a tracing issue in terms of the ingredients that end up being used in the production of fentanyl, the precursors. So this is a complicated issue, and we're also, to be clear, not going to shy away from raising with our American counterparts, as we have, that there are also drug challenges coming northward. And I've raised this openly, and I've spoken about 1,000 kilograms of cocaine recently seized by the Toronto Police and by the RCMP, I believe it was, in Coutts, Alberta. We also know that methamphetamines are coming across the border. This is a two-way street. And the fentanyl crisis is particularly egregious because fentanyl is so lethal. It's lethal in Canada and it's lethal in the United States. And I made sure to remind White House officials that in some cases, some weeks, some days, on per capita population, we're losing more Canadians than Americans are losing Americans. That's an important stat for the Americans to understand. We are connected with this crisis. We will continue to participate together and jointly in wrestling it to the ground. Finally! Why should the longest undefended border in the world, which we pride ourselves in having, 400,000 people a day cross the border back and forth, billions of dollars of trade back and forth, jobs at stake? I don't understand why somebody can sort of willy-nilly throw out a suggestion that the entire Canadian border should be militarized. I don't think that's predicated on fact or evidence. We have incredibly strong teams, a strong border which is getting stronger. The RCMP, the CBSA, conservation officers, Indigenous police, provincial police forces, municipal police forces are cooperating. This is an important moment because we have jobs at stake. And so I think Mr. Poilievre has some explaining to do.
Not really about fentanyl, that the tariffs are just a means to put economic force to Canada to turn us into a 51st state. Is that a threat that you think should be taken seriously at this point?
I think we should take everything coming from the United States seriously. Sir, I don't understand if Mr. If
coming to 51st state is
I think we should listen carefully to everything coming from the White House and act accordingly. But what we're really focused on right now, public safety. I'm here today with the President of the CBSA, the Deputy Commissioner of the RCMP, and my Parliamentary Secretary, Jennifer O'Connell. We're here to operationalize a border plan. We're putting into place measures which will strengthen the border, make it stronger than it already is. We're making huge progress, and there's more to be done.
Last question.
Over here.
Just on fentanyl, in regards to the cartel issue, just domestically, Canadian cartels, if you wish, are often organized crime groups involved in fentanyl, like the Hells Angels. So do you envision a scenario where a group like the Hells Angels could be put on Canada's list of terrorist entities, or are you talking about creating a separate list entirely?
We're talking about making reference explicitly to criminal cartels. We'll have more to say about that listing process and who's on that list in due course.
Okay, last question.
Sorry. Last question.
Commissioner Duham says that the RCMP has increased their personnel at the border by 35% compared to 3 weeks ago. But he said these aren't additional resources, they just move people around. So, and given that the force was already short, I'm wondering, can you assure Canadians their safety hasn't been put at risk to appease President Trump?
I have complete confidence in the Royal Canadian Mounted Police's ability to deploy the assets and the individuals we need at the border. I have complete confidence in their ability to follow up on their both contract policing and their federal policing responsibilities. And I take what Commissioner Duham says at face value.